Hey everyone, it's Joel here. Welcome to today's Daily Pattern. Today we're in Genesis chapter 16, and it talks about really what happens when we rush God. A part of following God involves doing things, it involves taking action, it involves us walking in faith and taking risks. But it's important that we don't rush God. And that's what we see in the story today. See, in Genesis 15, which Rich spoke about pretty beautifully yesterday, it talks about this promise that God gave to Abraham and Sarah, that Abraham was going to be the father of many nations, that even though they were old, Sarah was going to have a child. But then in Genesis 16, that promise is taking too long. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that. God said that things are going to change, but it's taking too long. A new opportunity is coming up. You feel called into something, but it's taking too long. And it's so tempting just to say, I'm going to make it happen myself. I'm going to make the changes. I'm going to do the move. I'm going to make this stuff happen. And that's what happens in this story. See, Sarah thinks it's taking too long. And so she gives her servant, whose name is Hagar, to go and to Abraham to try and make a child that way, which is clearly a terrible idea. And it leads to terrible things where there's huge animosity between Sarah and Hagar, and it just all goes terribly. And that's often what happens when we rush ahead of God. You know, we're invited into this relationship that is dynamic, and we're following God every day, and it involves risks, but don't rush God. I remember once actually when we were looking to plant a church, and my wife Kath and I, we felt called to church planting for a long time. And the one that God was saving for us was Swindon, to come and plant Pattern Church, which we love doing. But in that season before, even at one stage, I applied for a job that was not the right one. I knew it wasn't right, but just things weren't happening. You know, God's promise wasn't coming. And for you right now, that dream you've got, that thing you carry, journey with God on it. Don't rush ahead of Him. Don't make it happen in your own strength. Just be praying, God, today, what's my next step? How can I be faithful in this season? How can I use the waiting really well? What are you teaching me about your faithfulness in the here and the now? Because if we partner with God and don't rush Him, then He can do wonderful things. And when the thing comes about, the opportunity, the dream, the hope, when it comes about, we are ready for it. And we're grateful for it. And God's prepared us the way we need to be, so we can take the challenges that thing brings. But let's not rush God. Let's journey with Him. Love you guys. See you soon.